When I woke up yesterday, first person I got a call from, Tamar's publicist. Second person I got a call from, two other people in her camp that's in her business. Everybody wanting to know, what can we do to put this to bed? What can we do? Q, don't do it. Q, be the bigger person. Q, what we gotta do? You know how Tamar is. Y'all know how she. Q, please don't. Q, what we gotta do? Q, we been talking to her. Q, we try. My words to everybody was, why are y'all talking to me?
Atlanta has seen plenty of scandals, but nothing like the chaos that erupted the moment Tamar Braxton pressed post on that haunting Instagram story, one photo, one caption, and 7 words that stopped the city in its tracks. I woke up in a pool of blood. Within minutes, hashtags exploded, gossip blogs lit up, and fans everywhere were locked into frantic debates. To some, this was a tragic cry for help from a woman barely clinging to life. To others, it smelled like yet another perfectly timed PR stunt, dropped just days before new music. And while the internet argued, one person's name was dragged into the storm unfairly and violently. Funky Dineva. The real issue wasn't just the words Tamar posted, it was the silence that followed. She admitted to fractured teeth, a broken nose, and memory loss, but left every detail blurred. Who was with her? Who helped her? Who was to blame? She gave no answers. And the internet did what it always does, filled in the blanks. Her comments turned vicious. Twitter threads accused Funky of slipping her something. His Instagram lives were ambushed with insults. Suddenly, his name was being tied to a crime he had never committed, and his reputation was bleeding out with no one to defend him. For Funky Dineva, this was more than drama, it was a violation. He snapped back with clarity. In what world do you know? Somebody gets accused of something as serious as drugging or harming someone, and they just sit quiet. He wasn't guilty. But Tamar's refusal to speak made him look guilty by association. All he wanted was one simple statement clearing his name. Just one line, Funky Dineva did not do anything to me. But instead of stepping up, her team blew up his phone. Publicists, assistants, people close to her all begging him to let it go.
I told you yesterday you was gonna pay me for my pain. See, you the type of person, you ain't used to having nobody around you to meet you where you at. All right? I'm equally as crazy. I'm equally mentally and emotionally unstable as you are. All of this was supposed to be put to bed yesterday.
Q? Please don't. Q. Be the bigger person. Q. What can we do? But his response was ice cold. Why are y'all talking to me? Why aren't y'all talking to her? Because this didn't start with him, it started the moment Tamar pressed post. And only Tamar could stop it eventually. Under pressure, Tamar Braxton dropped a note. No matter what he says, I love Funky anyway. Had I known what was going on while I was recovering, I would have said something. It's terrible that whatever I didn't say turned into all this. I just want peace for a moment. It seemed like a truce. The dragging slowed, the noise softened, and Funky felt like maybe, just maybe, the nightmare was ending. But deep down, he knew it was fake. Later, he admitted we had to twist, bend, and move her arm just to get that little post out of her. It wasn't real. It wasn't genuine. It was damage control. Still, Funky Dineva tried to show grace. He told himself, okay, something happened to the girl. She's not doing well. I can weather the storm. I've weathered worse. He hoped time would cool things down, maybe even bring them back to laughing about the madness. But Tamar Braxton didn't want peace. She wanted power instead of silence. She went cryptic, dropping captions like bombs. The rabbit got the pow pow. My voice is my PR stunt. Mick on. Talent speaks for itself. Did all that hating and gossiping about me still didn't stop nothing? I'd be mad too. On the surface, vague words, but everyone knew who they were about. The timing, the tension. The so-called apology that was supposed to end at every arrow pointed straight at Funky. That's when his patience broke. To Funky, this wasn't shade anymore, it was betrayal. He had already been dragged through the mud, accused of crimes he never committed, stripped of his peace. And now the same woman who had given a half-hearted apology was laughing at his expense online. Enough was enough. He went live and unleashed fury. He called out her games, her need for attention, her love for the chaos. You like this type of mess. You like the speculation. You like being the center of attention. None of this would have happened if you had just been normal, patched yourself up, healed in private, and moved on. His words cut deep because they rang true. Tamar wasn't too weak to post cryptic captions. She wasn't too weak to film a music video. But when it came to defending the friend whose name she had dragged into hell, suddenly she was too weak. to speak, and to him that told the whole story. The fans saw it too. Twitter lit up with division. Some dragged Tamar for being messy, calling her apology fake and accusing her of sacrificing Funky's name to fuel her rollout. Others.
She posts, I almost died and is found in a pool of blood. She still texting me. Friend, oh my God, friend. I don't even know what happened. So I wrote back, wait, I'm confused. You went to bed and you woke up and 4 of your teeth was missing. No response to that. But then later, texting about every damn thing else under the sun. So I'm like, okay.
Others defended her, saying she nearly died and owed no one explanations. But the divide was clear, and the feud wasn't over, it was just beginning. And then came the moment that poured gasoline on the fire. A doctor stepped forward, confirming what Tamar herself had left unsaid. The injuries were real. For fractured teeth, a knocked-out tooth, a broken septum, surgery within 24 hours. The wounds weren't lies, but instead of silencing the gossip, this revelation only made the questions louder. How did it happen? Why go public instead of protecting the friend she claimed to love? The drama was only just beginning. The explanation from Dr. Amira Ogunlai should have calmed the storm, but instead it added another layer of suspicion that nobody was ready for. She confirmed that Tamar Braxton's team had begged her to investigate every possible cause: stroke, seizure, collapse, but every test came back negative. The official medical conclusion was shocking: sleepwalking. According to the doctor, Tamar may have gotten up in the middle of the night, completely disoriented, walked straight into disaster, and woken up with no memory of what had happened. On paper, the explanation seemed logical, but for fans who had followed Tamar's storylines for years, the idea that a pool of blood, shattered teeth, and broken bones could all come from sleepwalking was too far-fetched. To them, it sounded like a cover story dressed up as medical science, especially given the timing just days before her EP release, just when the buzz of sympathy could easily translate into streams. And blog coverage. The doctor's credibility gave Tamar validation, but it also handed Funky Dineva more ammunition for him. The debate was never about whether she had been injured. The bruises and surgeries proved that. The real problem was the silence, the refusal to clear his name, and the decision to let her private emergency spiral into a public circus. That left his reputation scarred. And just when the world thought her apology had eased the tension, Tamar lit the fire again with captions that dripped with subliminal shade. Her Instagram story said it all. Never ever going back to what I grew from. Nice try, devil. Bitch, my voice is my PR stunt. Mikon. Talent speaks for itself. The rabbit got the pow-pow. Did all that hating and gossiping about me, still didn't stop nothing. I'd be mad too. The posts were vague enough to disguise, but the shade was loud. Fans connected the dots instantly. Who else could she be talking about except Funky? Who else had accused her of stunts? Who else had demanded clarity and refused to back down? For Funky, this was the proof he had been waiting for. Her apology hadn't been peace, it had been performance. Because if she truly wanted resolution, she wouldn't still be online throwing subliminals, mocking him with riddles and pow captions. Instead, she would have healed in silence and left the feud behind. But
as this thing starts growing more legs, I'm over here getting nervous like, okay, like, girl, she gonna need to say something. Let me check in with her. Hey, girl, how you doing? Say, my girl, what the hell happened? Zero response. But you all in your Instagram stories posting cryptic messages and posting messages and whatnot, so you see your phone.
But Tamar Braxton was never one to leave drama in the past, and Funky Dineva was never one to stay quiet when somebody was bumping gums in his direction. His patience finally snapped, and when he went live again, he didn't hold back. He mocked her from top to bottom. He called her a toothless muppet, hitting at the very injuries that had landed her in the hospital. He questioned her bloody tale with brutal sarcasm. Was it Olympic-size standard? A kiddie pool? Or just a little blood we spit when we brush our teeth? The internet gasped, but the shade stuck. Too many. Tamar had turned her accident into melodrama, and Funky's cutting humor pierced through the sympathy. Then he struck deeper, going for her motives. Your near-death experience sure as hell didn't leave you grateful to be alive, he said coldly. If it had, you'd stop being messy, dramatic, and desperate for attention. You didn't fall hard enough. Maybe you should get drunk. Take the crazy pills and pass out again. The words were merciless, but the frustration behind them was undeniable to Funky. This wasn't just about Instagram captions, it was about principle. In his eyes, Tamar had let him burn, let his name rot in the fire, just to keep herself at the center of the narrative. Fans erupted into debate once again. Some called him cruel for mocking a woman's medical trauma. Others says he had every right to clap back after being accused of something so vile. Twitter trended, Instagram flooded. Blogs recycled the clips. The feud had officially entered its second explosion. And while fans split into camps, Tamar kept playing coy. Another story appeared, I mind mine and heal. But the deletes, the unfollows, the disappearing captions, all of it made her apology look faker with every passing hour. And Funky wasn't stopping. To him, every shady post was just another paycheck. Every subliminal she dropped gave him reason to go live, reason to drag, reason to turn her words into content. He wasn't just defending himself, he was profiting from her games. You post something, I post something, you fire a shot, I fire back. His strategy was simple: turn her shade into dollars, and the fans were eating it up, clipping his lines, sharing his drags, and keeping the feud alive like a reality TV marathon that no one wanted to turn off. By this point, the story had grown bigger than the hospital scare. It wasn't just about injuries, it was about egos, reputations, and who could control the narrative. Tamar Braxton fought to maintain sympathy and power. Funky Dineva fought to reclaim his name and flip the tables. And the fans? They were locked in, screenshotting every post, memming every line, and feeding the blogs with endless material. What began as a medical crisis had now become a full-blown reality soap, bigger than anything VH1 could script. The doctor had confirmed the wounds. Tamar had doubled down with shade, and Funky had gone nuclear with insults. The war wasn't slowing down, it was escalating. He was sharpening his tongue, setting ultimatums, and making it clear that this feud would end only when one of them walked away. And in his words, every post you make, I'm making $5,000 off your name, you gonna pay me for my pain. The battlefield had been drawn. Funky Dineva wasn't just clapping back anymore, he was cashing in. And he wanted the world to know it. Every time she posts something shady, I make $5,000 off a video, he bragged, eyes lit with defiance. Every single time. You think you hurting me? You financing my Miami trip, baby. You paying for my Range Rover, you gonna learn today. The pettiness was undeniable, but so was the brilliance. What Tamar Braxton thought would silence him had only handed him more power, more leverage, and more content. She wanted sympathy, but she had created his paycheck, and he wasn't about to let that go. That's when Funky shocked everyone by laying out his infamous rules of engagement. He didn't just hint at boundaries, he read them off. Like a contract written in fire: you don't say nothing, I won't say nothing. You don't post nothing, I won't post nothing. That includes subliminals. All that God is elevating me, removing people from my life. Nope, we not accepting none of them. Anything you post that can be interpreted as shade toward me, I'm going live. Period. It was more than an ultimatum, it was a dare. If Tamar wanted peace, she could have it by shutting up. But if she wanted to keep playing games, she was guaranteeing herself another public dragging. Every single time, and he didn't stop there. He made it personal, turning the feud into a matter of pride. You might could play with everybody else, but you're not gonna play with me, he thundered. I'm equally crazy, equally unstable. You post, I post, you throw shade, I throw fire. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. That phrase ripped through social media like wildfire. Blogs reposted it, TikTokers reenacted it, memes turned the line into a slogan. Fans debated endlessly in the comments, was Funky taking it too far? Or was he simply standing up against being used as collateral damage? But either way, the feud had officially become the year's most toxic, most addictive storyline. The scary part, Funky hinted that the real tea hadn't even been spilled yet. Even in this moment, I'm trying to protect you medically. I'm trying to protect you romantically. But you keep playing, and I'm telling you this ain't what you want. That single word romantically exploded across the internet like dynamite. Fans froze on it. What did he mean? What did he know about Tamar's love life? Who was he protecting her from? And what would happen if he finally let it all out? Suddenly, the pool of blood wasn't the headline anymore. The potential romantic tea lurking in the background was a bomb everyone was waiting for. Tamar Braxton, for once, went quiet. No more subliminals, no more shady captions. The silence was loud. She deleted posts, unfollowed, blocked, and disappeared into retreat. But to Funky, silence wasn't healing, it was surrender. Proof that she had lost the battle. To fans, it looked even darker. If she was really innocent, why retreat? Why hide? Why go quiet after such bold subliminals? The feud didn't end with clarity. It didn't end with resolution, it ended with tension thick enough to choke on. Because while Tamar was licking her wounds, Funky Dineva had already drawn the line. He had set his rules and he had made it clear. One wrong move, one shady post, and he would scorch the earth all over again. The ball was now in Tamar's court, and the world was watching every flicker of her Instagram stories, every caption, every move, waiting to see what she would do. Would she risk clapping back and force Funky to spill the romantic tea he had only hinted at? Or would she swallow her pride, stay silent, and let the feud die where it stood? The answer, fans believed, could decide everything, not just her reputation, but her career, because one more wrong move and Funky Dineva wasn't just ready to clap back. He was ready to tear the whole house down.